So Real Madrid won. They didn't win the game though. Hold that. Arsenal 2. We have just absolutely chefed up Carlo Ancelotti's all singing, all dancing, current reigning European champions 5-1. And the one, we gifted them because our goalkeeper and our centre-back were idiots. However, our captain was against us. We had 10 men over 2 legs. Declan Irish.
English.
Yeah, Declan English. Yeah. Man of the match back-to-back against Madrid. Mikel Merino, great performance. Everyone to a man. Miles Lewis-Skelly, bro, coming of age tonight. That guy was superb. And Rudiger should have been sent off for stamping on him. But Rudiger knows the dark arts. Oh, I'm planting my foot. Yeah. We missed a penalty early on. That penalty never gets given in the, by the way. We see that week in, week out in the Prem. And I couldn't believe it was gone back to VAR review. I was like, rah. Why is Saka trying to Panenka it, bro? Just slap it. However, Starboy looked zoned in from the get-go. Yeah, and he looked laser vision. Our captain looked shook from the get-go when they're going down and shaking hands. Our captain played like an idiot. Saka redeemed himself. Shush. The only thing I'll say about that celebration, Kenny, he did the TT and that, the king. However, he should have run around the back of the goal, given it the big one, and recreated it. Other than that, what a performance, Kenny.
Well, you got to remember one thing, right? You're 100% right. In 2 legs where we beat Real Madrid comfortably in the end, we actually won that game 5-1 aggregate with 10 men because Martin Odegaard's been that unbelievably crap, and it's not just us having an agenda. I was covering events on Twitter, and they all said the same thing. What is wrong with our captain? Everything he did was poor. He was poor. I'm surprised he stayed on the field. You know what I mean? His performances, thankfully, Real Madrid played that game. The way they kept on putting crosses in to no one. Kylian Mbappe does not throw on crosses. If anything, Jude Bellingham should have.
He was awful, by the way.
Jude Bellingham looked like a child out there. Declan Rice had him on toast, and so did Partey had him on toast. In fact, both of them were taking turns to cover Jude Bellingham. That was a very, very good partnership between those two. You can understand why Declan was really upset with Partey because he's thinking, "Hang on here, we're going to need you in that first leg because if you've seen our performances in the last 16 in the quarterfinals, we've virtually taken we've taken a game away from the opposition in the first leg. I believe the first leg is going to be against Paris at home, and you would need a Thomas Partey to help us take a game away with Paris. Because one thing in Europe I've learned from this team: never, ever, ever, ever go behind to us, because you do that at your peril. Because it'll be so difficult and so frustrating that you will take risks and you will fluff your lines. But one thing I will say, first and foremost, Declan Rice definitely deserves his flowers. He put in even a better performance than last week, because last week it was more about the free kicks from start to finish. He knew what his role was. He basically sensed danger, got away with everything. Wasn't the creative spark that we didn't need him to be. But you know what? He gave that defence so much protection. And then when the defence, got across his Kivior was fantastic.
No, he was outstanding. Him and Saliba, until Saliba's cock up, they were unreal.
I said in Dan's show, never, ever, ever rest Saliba, because those two have to play games. You could
but Kenny, sorry to cut in there. Don't that right? And I know we're being hype and rightly so, because we're just beating the European champions here over 2 legs comfortably. But if we rewind to when we had Rob Holding at the Etihad when Kivior's on the fucking bench, mate. Yeah. Come on, maybe it's a different story.
But I think what's happened, we've learned.
It's jarring. He's been very good. I don't think him and Saliba have actually lost a game when they've played together.
Yeah, but you know what? The reason why is because they complement each other. Let's not forget there was a time when Saliba was injured, and Gabriel was injured, and Arteta played Saliba instead, and so he didn't trust Kivior, so he's had to earn that trust from his manager. But when he's played, he's been fantastic. He's been part of the team. he does what's required for him. He's good on the ball. He's slightly better than he's better on the ball than Gabriel, but he's not Gabriel. Gabriel loves defending, understands it, doesn't prefer to play with his feet like Kivior. But one thing is Kivior, he hasn't let us down in any games he's played. I'm not talking just games in Europe, but the games in the league as well.
At centre back, yes, left back.
Special Pension's got to go to. And people might say, "Oh, you're wrong about Arteta. You're wrong about Declan Rice or Declan English." I wasn't wrong about Yerin Timber, though.
Oh, what a baller, bro!
I think a lot of people need to take a good look at themselves. The people who were talking rubbish last season and saying that Timber was our left back. The guy was only covering Chichenko, who was injured during the game in the
Mate, I said Ben White was getting we actually said it on the podcast. Ben White was going to get the Ramsdale treatment.
He's not.
And has anyone actually cooked Yerin Timber all season? Like literally had him on toast. Nobody's cooked him.
Timber. The fact of the matter is that Yerin Timber is the right back, and the most thing about it is I knew that as soon as that guy came to the football club, that his position was on the right-hand side of the defence, or right back. He was coming here to replace Benjamin White. I don't care what anyone says, and I was proved right. And I'm not having a dig at Declan Rice, but sorry about Benjamin.
You just don't like Declan Rice, do you?
No, I'm not having a dig about Declan Rice or Benjamin White. I'm just saying you don't have to talk about the dark arts with Yerin Timber.
No, he just goes around this bit. Do you know what he reminds me of here? Whether you agree or not, let me know. Yeah, he reminds me of Lauren. Yeah, Lauren was a tough guy. Just went about his business. Can do a little bit of nastiness when he has to, but he can play ball. But you never really noticed him because the other guys were the better players. No, not better players, but they were the more front and centre players.
The thing with Benjamin White, and there's no disrespect to Benjamin White, I think we've seen everything Benjamin White can give us in terms of what he can give us defensively, positional wise, and what he can give us from an attacking point of view. You've only seen 50% of what Timber can give us. You've only seen the defensive side of him. You've seen the pace. You've seen the positioning. When he gets a run of games at right back, and we know it's going to be next season, you watch him from an attacking point of view. You watch how he overlaps with Saka. You watch how he gets his crosses in. You'll see a complete footballer, mate. A total right back. And he's the right back we'll be looking for. Miles Lewis-Skelly's had a fantastic game. He's not the left back we're looking for. We will have to upgrade on Miles Lewis-Skelly. But whilst we've got Miles Lewis-Skelly, keep him, and just benefit from the fact that he's learning to invert. And when he brings the ball out, it's fantastic. If we do get a left back, we have to find a place for Miles Lewis-Skelly in this first team. I don't know where, but somehow you've got to find a place.
Number eight.
Could be. Because, again, he's another one that we've only seen 50% of what he could do. There's more to come from Miles Lewis-Skelly. And that's the beauty of it all, is that with Yerin Timber and Miles Lewis-Skelly, Yerin Timber is the right back for a good few years yet. Miles Lewis-Skelly may not be the left back that we're looking for, but there are other positions where I think he can play. May not be a Saka as such, but in the midfield, he'll be superb in that midfield. So one thing is the future is bright for a couple of players. Obviously, Bukayo Saka, give him his flowers. I don't think he's fully fit, but he played in bursts today. And what I liked about him today?
He managed his game. He managed his game today.
But you know what? From a defensive point of view, he managed to, be the first press, especially down Real Madrid's, left-hand side. I thought it was fantastic. I didn't see Alaba getting the crosses in at all. Don't get me wrong, Garcia again came on, got crosses in, but again, it was meat and drink for us. I've run out of superlatives for all the players, and I suppose I've got to get one for the manager because at the end of the day, Igor's never really got Igor. I'm getting it wrong. So Igor was right about one thing. They do play for this guy, whether I like him or not, is irrelevant because I don't. But one thing I can never take away from, they do play for this guy. He is getting something out of them. It may not be the promised land, but whatever happens, there is now standards at this club. And I've got to give him a little bit of praise for that because I think, right, expectations high now. we're in a situation where people like myself, you, Jez, and everything else, yeah, we can demand high standards, and we can hold him to the standards, because the biggest critic of Mikel Arteta and the biggest critic of his team isn't me, isn't Jez, isn't DJB, isn't Matty, isn't Northside. It's Mikel Arteta himself. He's the one who's not satisfied. He's the one who wants to raise the standards, and it's down to him to keep to these standards. We're only in the semi-finals. We know PSG are going to be a different kettle of fish. However, one thing I'll say about PSG, as good as you are on the ball, and the fact that you have some really, really good players, and you can hurt us, never go a goal behind to us, because it doesn't matter if you're PSG or Barcelona. You go behind a goal behind against us, there's only one team that's capable of overturning it. It's Inter. Barcelona will find it difficult to play against us if they leave the back door open, and so will PSG if they leave the back door open. Yes, PSG are the favourites. Undoubtedly, they deserve it. However, you write us off at your peril, especially in this competition, and you so much as give us the gifts you gave Aston Villa. Ooh.
Right, mate. This is what I'm saying, Kenny. Bro, they were 2-0 up. Yeah, 5-1 up. And let's be real, on the balance of that last night, not tonight's time, last night's time, Aston Villa should have gone through. That goalkeeper, and I don't rate their goalkeeper, PSG's. Yeah, he had the best game of his life against Liverpool the other week. Yeah, and he had the best game of his life again against Villa. That goalkeeper is a problem for them. That's their weakest link. However,
he's a link. However, for a footballing perspective,
if that's us, do we create as many chances? And for me, when I looked at Aston Villa, I did the watch along for it. Yeah, soon as they took Marcus Rashford off, I said he's thrown the game. Yeah, because Rashford was he was going for it.
Yeah,
he was playing great.
But again,
he should have brought Watkins on, put Watkins up front, Asenzo in the 10, put Rashi on the left. He fucked that up.
Yeah, and Emery fucked up. He did,
and that's why he's not an elite manager. He's a very good manager.
But you know why? How Emery fucked it up. Where Villa went wrong is when they conceded that goal last week in injury time for Mendes.
The third goal,
If Mendes doesn't score that goal in the injury time, I think this goes to extra time. Villa created enough chances to get.
Villa could have won that game last night. I
remember, if Villa played the way Emery wants them to play, I can guarantee you now they probably wouldn't have gone through. They took risks because they had to take risks. They had the players.
John McGinn's goal was cold, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah, but Villa had what Real Madrid didn't have today. Villa, even though Real Madrid have got the names, they didn't have the ability, the speed, or the element of surprise in their defence. We knew what was coming. Whilst Villa, they went direct when they needed to go direct. They played the slow, changed the pace of the game, and that's why they nearly got through.
Second half, they were awesome.
Yeah, they were awesome, but that's the thing with PSG. PSG will give us chances.
Do you think we make the final, Kenny? Because I think we do. I think we do them over 2 legs.
The only thing I worry about is Partey not playing the first leg, because the first leg's at home. Traditionally, if you really want to go through to the Champions League final then you have to make sure you get something for the first leg. You look what we did against PSG,
especially at home.
We smashed them 7-1 away from home. We virtually ended the tie. We won 3-0 last week. We ended the tie. Deep down, we put Real Madrid on this pedestal of greatness, which they deserve to be. But in essence, that is a Real Madrid team without Militao. In essence,
but Kenny, I'm not doing the whole injury thing. Yeah? I'm not doing the whole injury thing. I'm not doing that. Yeah, they got 3 of their they got 3 of their back 4. I know you're not, but they got 3 of their back 4 out injured. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still won it last year with their best goalkeeper out for the whole season.
You think about it,
and 3 of 4, 5, 6 players out.
I'm not making excuses, but come on, Carvajal plays if he's fit. He's not fit.
Militao plays. Mendy plays if he's fit.
Mendy plays as left back if he's not fit. No, don't get me wrong. They were still good at that alleged, lightweight team was still good enough to beat Man City home and away. So really and truly, that was still a top Real Madrid side. They still had a fulcrum of their
their squad's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Bro, they were bringing Endrick Yeah, Arda Güler didn't even touch pitch. They're bringing Brahim Diaz, Modric, Endrick, Ceballos all off the bench. What did we do? Yeah, oh shit, we'll throw 3 subs on right at the end. Why? Because he's looking at his bench going, fuck, we've only got Sterling, Ethan.
Yeah, but the thing is, Lee, though, the fact
is man of the match, by the way.
Yeah, the fact is, right. The fact is, Lee. The fact is that even if they had all those players, which they had off the bench, the fact is that they're predictable and they play into our hands. They missed a trick in the first leg when they won the midfield battle in the first half, and they didn't score that goal after in the second half, and that's when we took control of the game. That first free kick from Declan Rice killed them. The second one, we now know was end of the tie. 2-0 would have been good enough, and that's the thing with us in this Champions League. You go a goal down against us, then we're more capable of making it comfortable. We're hard to break down. You know who
they didn't really create a great amount of chances.
Who remind me of, and you're an Arsenal fan's going to swing, but hear me out. This reminds me of Mourinho's Chelsea 20 years ago.
Oh, fair. I was going to say George Graham, solid at the back, but Nick's back up front.
Mourinho's Chelsea, because I'm going from a sort of different perspective. Mourinho's Chelsea was so difficult to break down that if you win a goal,
and if you give them a chance, the chances are half chances, quarter chances.
And you remember, they had a top class Petr Cech, and after the top class Petr Cech, they had a top class Courtois. We now got a goalkeeper we trust in Raya.
And I still think we can upgrade him, by the way.
We can upgrade him, but he is levels above Aaron Ramsdale.
Oh, facts.
He's one of the reasons.
The way we played against them over the 2 legs, they were shell-shocked, mate. Yeah, and they tried to do all the intimidation one and all that, and which I get. Listen, it's Real Madrid. Yeah, they did the minute silence at the beginning. I don't even know who them 2 geezers were.
No. I knew who they were. What Leo?
Well, you were, because fucking you know football, Kenny.
Yeah, but Leo.
No, I do. I was taking a piss.
Yeah, but Leo Bainhacker was their manager in 1990 when they won the league with players like Martin Vasquez. Who is it? Butragueño. Like I said,
Sanchez, would they have done that?
Michel Herrero.
But they tried everything to intimidate us, and we weren't intimidated.
Yeah. And the other guy, he was in the Real Madrid backroom staff, but that team from Bainhacker in 1990 played beautiful football.
No, I know. I take that back. The first guy I do know.
But Leo Bainhacker, if you've got time, watch the 89-90 season of Real Madrid. You will see beautiful play.
Well, who was the manager? That was the Welsh guy, Toshak.
He was about 10 years late, about 8 years later. But in 1990,
so when was Toshak there?
Toshak was about 98 or something. 98. Don't quote me on it, but it was around.
No, I think he was earlier than that, bro. Anyway, it is what it is. We're splitting it.
Toshak managed Real Madrid for 1 season, I think. And
they averaged 4 goals a home game.
And he won the league of them. But that
and then got sacked in November the next season.
But that team, Leo Bainhacker in 1990 was the one played the best football I've ever seen in terms of attacking football.
Listen, Kenny, shout your Instagram out, man. I'll do it. Shout your Instagram at Kenny Ken 1972. What you got coming up as well?
Well, we should have something with Jez, but I've got something with DG at 6 o'clock on Good Friday, and then obviously I'm off to Portman Road to watch Ipswich because it's Andy Nunn's 40th. So
that troll, bruv, that ginger ball troll, bruv. I love him really.
He reminded me of my alleged agenda against Mike Arteta, and I said to him, "Well, I've been here since midnight. I've just left and it's midnight, and I'm enjoying my team watching football as well as
facts." But on that bombshell, fuck your 40th, Andy. No, I'm joking. I love Andy. I love him. No, I love Andy. Bless up Andy every time. Bless up Arsenal. Big up Mikel Arteta. Bless up the whole team apart from the guy. He can fuck himself.
I forgot. I am on with Dane at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
So am I. We will be there. Miguel can't make the emergency meeting tonight. He's got work in the morning, but he'll be there
Fair
tomorrow.
enough. Fair
And
enough.
Christian and Miguel, I swear, if they rattle me, I'm rage quitting. On that bombshell, I'm rage quitting now. Love, we're out. Laters. Bye.